Well, this is my thinking on this one. 3 buildings, basically. Quite northern. Not a lot of money in this subdivision. I think I'll have a little bit of snow in here, I think. You know, distant hills. I laid in the distant shoreline with cobalt blue and a bit of burnt sienna. Didn't want to go too dark. I wanted my strongest lines to be in the foreground. But yeah, at the moment we're going to outline this thing. You know, and on old sheds like this, old sheds, structures, I like sagging roofs, you know, crooked walls. Like to watch, like to see things settling in, slowly making their way back into the ground. You know, it's the nature of things. So, in a way, I guess I kind of exaggerate that sometimes, just to try to give it that feel. I don't want it too exaggerated because it will turn into a cartoon very easily. The look of it, you know. A bit of a chimney stack there. Meh. Might be a little bit over the top, I don't know. I'm not worrying too much. You know, I went from my charcoal drawing, which is okay, to the outlining, which is hopefully a little bit better, to the wash-in, which is hopefully a little bit better, but the wash-ins are usually sloppier and often they don't look that good. That's okay. I need to have that color base in there. To the painting, and that painting, well, that's where it's got to be. That's where it's got to be fairly well done. Unfortunately, this canvas is pretty aggressive with its tooth. I really prefer a canvas that doesn't have this much bite, but that's what I've got. I'll live with it. You know, I have this sort of view in my mind's eye that I'd like to paint, and I'll just deal with issues along the way. I'm planning on it. I'm planning it to be a brush painting. Okay. I do want bits of roof missing. Just a little bit. Doesn't have to be much. It doesn't have to be much, but I don't want too many strong, beautiful straight lines, you know? I really kind of like it if things are broken up a little bit. Now I'm using ultramarine blue and raw umber. Not burnt umber. Yes, you would expect burnt umber to be darker, but oddly enough, burnt umber often comes across as quite a bit lighter. Again, it really kind of depends on which company you buy it from. For the most part, I'm just using Winsor & Newton right now. They are really pretty much my go-to paints. There are a few exceptions with certain colors some of the time, but for the most part that's about it. chimney stack. I may as well paint that dark. There's going to be some cold steel blues on there. Yeah, so exaggerated contours, but not too exaggerated. You know, you want to make it pretty obvious that these things are slowly coming apart at the seams. But if you go crazy, it becomes a fairy tale, which is okay too. You know, if that's your intention, if that's sort of the way you want to portray it, I don't see any problem with that at all. But it's not quite what I want to do on this painting. A little bit, but not too much. I just kind of like the northern look. I have a brush that's more accurate than this, but given the canvas being so rough, I think I'll save that one for a higher purpose. The greater good. Okay, let's bring another dark line in here, maybe there a little bit. Don't get too carried away, Phil. Don't get too carried away. Keeping it simple. I have such a tendency to get caught up in putting too many small details in, so it never fails. It's a bad idea. With my technique, you know, it's different for everybody. Bob Ross would say, "Do what you want," you know. I really don't care, and that's true. That's entirely your call. Let's make that dark, that dark, that dark. It's going to be in the shade anyway. I won't make this plane that dark, but I think I will on this one. Okay. This is very dark paint. Maybe a little too dark. Why don't we just add a little bit of white to it? And a little bit of raw umber. Brown her up a little bit. Make it a bit brown. Under the eave, be a bit dark. Now, this side also will be a bit dark. Not as dark as the lines that I just put in. You know, I'm being very gray here. I think I'd like to add a little bit of alizarin crimson to it, make it a bit purple. Why not? Purple is definitely going to make its grand entrance into this painting at some point or another. Okay, I mixed up way too much of the dark stuff. I'm just going to give this a wipe. And even though things are going to be brown and warmish brown and what have you, I'm going to mix up a little bit of ultramarine blue. Because our base under that brown and under those grays, you may as well go with more purple. And I know it can be kind of irritating painting over that purple, but I use, you know, because they're pretty close in value to the darkest darks. But that's why, even though I may be going low value adjacent to low value, I'm still painting in the lines. I'm still trying to make sure that because of the direction of the brush strokes, you can tell one plane from another plane, pretty obviously. You know, I don't know if you can see that in the camera or not. It's really not that important. What's important is that I can see it later when I'm actually painting in the painting. That's right, I only care about myself. Okay. I'm not being all that fussy. A little more alizarin crimson. A little more terps. This is a wash-in after all. I think the roofs will go a little bit more umber or a little greenish again, you know? Kind of like green steel, greenish wood, weathered. Something weathered, obviously. Because clearly this is a part of a weathered settlement. Might be an Inuit or part of an Inuit village or something. I don't know. Might be just a hunting camp that's used annually. Grab a little cobalt blue here, add a little bit of white to it, and a little bit of burnt sienna. A bit of terps. That's pretty dark, but that's okay. When we paint into it, it'll be light. And I'll be using a more accurate brush as well. I'll be using more accurate strokes, I guess is what I should say. Boy, this canvas has got a lot of bite to it. I don't like that. I do not like that. There's such a fine line between good bite and too much bite. To me, too much bite just means that they were cheap with the gesso. It's like, come on, people, you can do better than that. Now, even as an impressionist painter, I don't want it to be too rough. If I want it rough, that's going to come with my painting style, not the coarseness of the canvas. Nah, you know, I think that's gonna do the job for Distant Hills. I know it looks pretty discombobulated right now. Until I get the roofs in. Well, until I get everything in. Right now I'm looking at this as a frozen lake, or maybe frozen tundra. Nah, you know, actually that's going to be a tree bank in the distance. Maybe a frozen lake. Maybe not. Maybe it'll be a summer scene. Maybe it'll be... Yeah, who knows? I changed my mind so much. That's why I never could be a realist, because I could not dedicate all the time and effort it takes into getting everything perfect. I'm a little more flamboyant in my character. Which means, of course, that I'm unreliable, I'm a liar, unaccountable, you know, all those terrible words. Which, you know, I don't know. If applied to me, I think I'll just take them as terms of endearment. How about that? Anyway, before I cram my other foot in my mouth, we're going to leave it at that for now. But you see what the plan is. You see what I'm up to, you know? And I'll get back to you once I've got more ground covered. There are going to be a few items here and there to make this more interesting. And the sky is going to have its own design. We'll get to it when we get to it. Talk soon.